I'm going to talk with you guys about your gradebook inside the Blackboard learning environment. So hang tight. I want to cover some problems that you might experience, and I want to show you how to fix those problems. And these need to be fixed before you actually start loading student grades. So let's talk about some of those now. What I've done is I've created a gradebook that has issues, and I'm going to troubleshoot it and talk you guys through my thinking and where I'm going to fix the gradebook. So I'm going to the Full Grade Center, and it looks just like this. Just take a quick second and look at the items. These are the items. Okay. So I'm looking over here at my list of issues to resolve. Students are saying that they believe their grades are incorrect. So that's my first problem that I have. I'm looking at this and noticing that my total column has a green check mark beside it, which says that this is what students are seeing. They're seeing whatever grades are in this column. The reality is that I have put my calculations, my rubric for their final grade, I've created that inside the weighted total column, and that's the one that I want them to see. So I've got to move that check mark from there to over here. And the way I do that is go to the column that they need to see, and I click the chevron and I say set it as the external grade. Now notice the check mark is now in the correct column. You can go back and forth and do this. It's not hurting a thing, but in my case I want the students to see the correct column. So they're now seeing the correct column. The next thing that I want to demonstrate for you is a really cool area that gives you a tremendous amount of information, and you can do a lot of troubleshooting by just going to this one place. If you mouse over Manage and go to Column Organization, it looks like this, and I'm going to scroll down, and let's talk about what you're looking at here. First of all, it allows you to see all of the items that are in your gradebook. You can just see all of them. So you can use this to check off whether you have left out one. If you're missing one, you can get rid of one. So you can see all of the items in your gradebook. Secondly, you can tell which category you have them assigned to. What you're looking at here is I've got something going to a test category, a discussion category, an assignment category, and so on and so forth. This is helpful because if you don't have things attached to the appropriate categories, then the weighted grade at the end is not going to be correct. So this allows you to find any errors in how things are associated with their categories. The same area will display any due dates that you have set on assignments. So it's a good place to go check to see if all of your due dates are correct, and you can go to one spot and see them. And then finally, this column that says points possible, it shows you whether you're using a percentage-based gradebook, whether you're using a points-based gradebook. This shows you how much and what is assigned to each of the items in your gradebook. So again, the column organization area provides you with a tremendous amount of information at a glance. Now that you've seen the column organization area, let's take some problems that are going on with this gradebook and let's fix them, and I'm going to talk you through it. First of all, I'm going to my weighted total column just to refamiliarize myself with how the final grade is determined in this class. I've got 50% being attached to the assignment category, and 50% is attached to the test category, giving me a total of a 100% final grade. I have asked that the final grade be displayed as a percentage for students because they understand that. So If their final grade is designated by two categories, in this case, test and assignment, that means that all of the activities in the grade book that should be part of that final grade, they're either going to be assigned to the assignment category or they're going to be assigned to the test category. That's it. If you assign them to a different category, they won't be included in the calculation, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to go back to my column organization area, and I'm going to double check and make sure that everything is assigned to the correct category. So I'm going to column organization, and I should see nothing but test and assignment. But I do see that I have an activity. This life goals activity I have assigned to the discussion category. If I don't want that particular activity to be included in the final grade, I can just leave it the way it is. But I know that this is supposed to be an assignment grade. So what I need to do is go back to the full grade center, pull this guy up, and I need to change this so that it does not say discussion, that it correctly says assignment. So I'm going to click cancel here. I'm going to go to my life goals assignment, edit column information, and surely enough, this is where I've assigned it to the wrong category. I'm going to fix it by assigning it to the correct category. Now it will be reflected in the student's final grade. So I've fixed that one issue by going to column organization and checking my categories to make sure that everything aligns with how I'm going to calculate their final grade. All right. The next thing that you can fix are due date problems. If you notice, for instance, that you've got something set for a due date and maybe that due date is not where you want it, maybe it falls on a holiday, whatever it is, you can locate that and then go back to the front side and change it for whichever item is incorrect. I want to talk to you about something that happened with several faculty this past term, and that has to do with how you build your grade book. You have a choice, but you do have to make a choice. You can build your grade book on points if you want to, or you can build your grade book on percentages. You can't mix and match because Blackboard doesn't know how to calculate apples and oranges. It has to be all apples, points, or all oranges, percentages. Now, if you take a look here, this is a mess because I've got some assignments that are based on 100%, but then I have some that are only worth points. I cannot do that. If you're going to run a percentage grade book, then every assignment is worth 100%, period. That's it. If you're going to run a points grade book, then these numbers can vary. But I'm running a percentage grade book, so everything here should say 100, but it does not. My number 5 SMART goal setting, I've got 30, it should read 100. And my chapter 1 exam, I have 10, it should read 100. And the same thing on my test category. So I have to go to the front side and I have to change those. So I'm going to go back to my full grade center and my SMART goals. I'm going to change the column information for it. And this is where I've told it 30 points, and it should be based on 100 points because I'm using a percentage grade book. So I got that one changed. I believe this was another one. Yes, and it has 10 points possible here. The reason why it's not allowing me to change it here is because I've got to go to the test itself. I've done the actual test incorrectly as far as giving each question the right number of points so that the whole test adds up to 100%. So what I'm going to have to do is go to the test itself, chapter 1, and I have 10 questions in the set, and it's supposed every question is equal to 1 point. But what I need to do is I need to make sure that the whole thing is worth 100 points. So now I've updated it so that the whole thing is worth 100 points. Now when I go back to my grade center, and if I go look at my column organization and I scroll down to those items, see, I fixed SMART goal setting, I fixed the chapter 1 exam. I have one last one to fix, and it's the column that's called test. I'm going to do it very quickly. Edit column information. Again, it's an exam, so I have to go to that exam. It's going to be worth 100 points. I've changed it. There it is. So now when I go back to my full grade center, if I go to column organization, it will quickly tell me that I got that one fixed as well. So I have resolved that problem. Everything is now worth 100% or 100 points. Now my weighted total, as long as I've got everything associated with the correct category, and as long as everything's based on 100%, it should calculate the final grade. So those are a few of the things that we felt like we needed to talk about. The problem with not fixing these things up front is especially if you're a manual person, where you're manually going in and inserting these grades. After you start entering these grades, when you start monkeying around with your grade book, there's not a whole lot you can do. I had a few faculty our first semester in Blackboard who had to calculate all the grades by hand, because all the final grades by hand, because part of their stuff was in points and part of it was in percentages, and Blackboard simply could not calculate it properly. So if nothing else, you can change the categories themselves. You can change due dates in the middle of the term. None of that will hurt anything, but you do have to make sure that if you're using a percentage-based grade book from the very beginning, that everything is worth 100 points. If you're not going to use a percentage-based grade book, you can simply leave everything at the number of points that you assign them. So this is a good exercise for you to go into your own courses, take a look at column organization, look at the things that we've talked about that you can detect by simply looking at the columns in this area, and you should be able to fix a lot of your gradebook problems. If you have a gradebook problem that you cannot fix, please let me know. I would be more than happy to work with you. Thanks so much.